Hello everyone, this is RC053. Well, my Netherlands general deck video got a ton of traction, 536 at the time of making this video, so thank you guys for being so supportive, but I wanted to bring you another deck, this time being a Netherlands Motorized deck, so just the Netherlands, but motorized. So, let's just dive right in. So first I have for my command unit, some Staff Inheo, I don't know how to pronounce that. Basically, just some command infantry, bringing them in the UH-14 because it's a very fast transport, and so yeah, it just gives you a very mobile as well as a very stealthy command. Next to forward operating base, we have the Veracht here, the Puma. This is what I'm taking. Now I did look at these. Now these AB-204Bs, do not take them yet right now. There's a glitch with them where they won't offload supplies, but they will at the time I'm making this video. Hopefully they still don't. I haven't tested it yet if they still do, but they used to anyways actually work as a command unit. So I hope that they fixed it in this past patch, 'cause there was just recently one. But oh my gosh, I was like, oh no, this is bad. Once I found out that they weren't deploying supplies and capturing zones, that gave people 25-point command helicopters to deploy at will. Not a good situation. Even if command helicopters are terrible, getting them for 25 points, that's a good deal. That is a good deal, my friends. Anyways, then we have the DAF YA440 Veracht. This is just your standard supply truck. It's not really anything special, nothing unique about it. Infantry, the real strength of this deck. Bringing in two cards of the Corps Mariners, or Mariniers. The Mariniers have the FAL, just a standard battle rifle. It's a very good battle rifle with very high accuracy. Don't shoot it on the move. Don't shoot it on the move. It will not hit much. But you also get the Carl Gustaf M2, which is not bad, and you also have the FALO, or so I think this is just a squad automatic version, automatic weapon, just a modified FAL. I think that's what it is, but I'm not entirely sure. Anyways, so that's the Corps Marinier, and I'm taking two of them in the YP408 PWY, and it's really what I'm taking most of my troops in, because it is the most numerous transport that I get. It's really the only wheeled transport I get, actually. The only other option would be taking the Huey. Next we have the, another card of Corps Mariniers, this time the 95 version. They have the C7 Carbine, very good carbine. This thing, it does exceptionally well in close quarters. And this just wrecks. These guys are a true challenger to Commandosi, in my opinion. I think in light of these guys, I think Commandosi should either get a buff or should get lowered in price, because Commandosi just can't compare to these guys anymore. And that's a shock for me to say, because I like the Commandosi. But, like, the Commandosi only has, like, 40%, accuracy and 40% on the move with the same rate of fire. And they only have a RPG that does 15 armor penetration. So I don't know how that's going to stack up at this point, I mean, like, at least the Krustjägern that the Swedes have, at least, it's like 40 points. But this really changes the game. It really does. Next, going from the awesome, special forces to the home guard reserve forces that are the Naders. The NATRES, they're just a National Guard, home guard force. Thank you for guys in the comments for pointing that out. We have the FAL, just the same FAL that these guys have, but only 30% accuracy. But, they're reservists, come on. They're not going to be the best infantry in the game. They also carry the M72 Law, which is great, in my opinion. This is, M72 isn't my favorite law, but it fires quickly, and for a reservist, that really helps them get those shots off faster when they're stunned or even panicking. They might still be able to get that shot off to get another extra point of damage on that vehicle. Next we have Stinger, just the basic Stinger with 50% accuracy. This is kind of the main shortcoming, one of the big shortcomings that the Dutch have, is that it's only the Stinger. Not that it's a bad anti-aircraft platform, it's just not the best. So, I mean, you can still work with it, it's totally fine as an anti-aircraft platform, but it's not the Stinger C or the PC. Anyways, then, moving on, we have the flamethrower infantry. They have a gas mask on, and they have an Uzi. But yeah, very effective, I found, to be in, like, close forest fighting or in town fighting. Town fighting especially, because SMGs just do exceptionally well in town fighting. Furthermore, remember the, I believe that the, flamethrower can be used in the same building block, so don't get up close with these guys. They will devastate. And then finally, we round off the deck with 24 Grenadiers, our standard line infantry. You get a standard FAL, get an M72, and you get an FM. They're really good, just basic units. Their AT power is really lacking, just because it's only the M72. You can't take like a 95 version, like the Grenadiers 95 or 90s, with an AT4 or M72A4. That would be really nice for these guys, but we don't get that. Anyways, not taking these guys because they just don't seem to work for me. Like, I've seen these things deployed and work really well, but for me they just never seem to work, and it bothers me so much, but that's just how it works. Then moving on to support. We have, starting out, 2 cards of the iHawk Pip 2. They have a great helicopter range and okay range against aircraft with 55% accuracy. And so for 70 points, it's not a bad deal, and, bringing these in groups of 2 will mean that you can basically have good anti-aircraft coverage. Then we have the Cheetah PT PRTL A1, and so having the A1 version, you have 65% accuracy, and then the only stat change from the Cheetah PRTL is that this only has 45% accuracy. But you can always deploy more of these. You can deploy like 3 more of them, so that makes it kind of worth it, I guess. And then for mortars, you can either go for the YP408 PWMT, or you could go for the Lara Mortier. I don't really like these guys. You could use them as cheap, units to lay down smoke screens, but not really useful for much more than that. These guys, on the other hand, have greater range. They have an actual, normal range, or, decent range for mortars. 4900, that's an actual, like, that's the lower end of mortars. This is sort of the lowest end right here. And that's when you kind of go into the circle range for the French. But, anyways, that's why I'm taking this one. It's also got some armor. If you want something beefier, you can take the M106A1. It has a much longer range, and it has 4 HE power. So yeah, that sums up support and tanks. Well, tanks, we are taking a lot of leopards, let's just put it that way. We're taking leaping leopards, I guess. Leaping leopards. The Leopard 1V is the first one, and I think this is really just like a Leo AS1 Plus that the Australians have. You're looking at 2275 meter range, good accuracy, good stabilizer, decent armor penetration for a 55-point tank. That's pretty good. Armor's lacking, but it is a fast tank. It does have good accuracy. It does have good range. So you're getting a lot with it, honestly. I'm taking 2 cards of those, so we can get kind of the most out of them, if you will. Next, moving on, we have the Leopard 1 NL. Not the best tank by far. This is really just like a modified Leopard 1. Not like 1A3, it's a Leopard 1. So definitely not the best tank. But, it's a tank. You can use it as fire support. You can use it in a couple different roles. I'd still highly recommend you take the Leopard 1V first, but if you want something that can fill in the gaps and provide support in, say, a forest, the Leopard 1NL will do that, but I think the AMX-13 FL-15 does forest support better because, well, it has better range. which means the closer it gets, it will do actually more armor penetration than the Leopard 1 now. It has 12 armor penetration, more than the Leopard 1. It has less armor, but has an autoloader and can fire 13 rounds a minute. So this is a very formidable unit if you ever encounter it. Do not underestimate it, especially in a forest or at close range, because this will just keep on firing, keep on doing repetitive damage to your forces. Next, moving on to Recon. We have the Leopard 1 Verkenning. Now, the Verkenning has 2275 meter range and has very good accuracy and AP power. Just comparing this back, this is basically just a Leopard 1V. All of these stats are the same except for the optics and the stealth. You get an upgrade from medium to very good, and you also get medium stealth, which is excellent considering this is, you know, just a recon tank. It's a tank, but it's also a recon tank, and so you kind of get this quasi-stealth tank, honestly. I mean, it's not like the, what is it, PL-01 that the Polish are developing right now, but, you know, it's the wargame equivalent of the stealth tank, if you will. Just because it does have, you know, good ground range, it is medium stealth. So yeah, it does have that going for it. Next we have the Huzaren. Now, the Huzaren are just a 5-man recon team. Not that I consider them disposable or throwaway, but I can use these just sort of to move up when I don't necessarily want my KCT doing. Which of course brings us to the KCT. Well, first off, the Huzaren, I wouldn't recommend using these in any offensive role or in, you know, any aggressive role. Just turn the weapons off and move them across, you know, from forest to tree line to little tree line and shrub. You know, move them across there and have them do it that way. Don't put these guys in harm's way too much, or else you really don't understand the capabilities that these guys have. Next, we have the KCT. These guys I consider more behind the enemy lines, or potentially like in the back of the town. Oh, that's interesting. These guys have the FAL. Oh, that's interesting. That is interesting. I think these guys used to have the mini-me. I think they did. Maybe I'm totally wrong, but I thought they used to have the mini-me, but they got changed, I guess. But anyways, so I have them coming in two ways. I have one of them coming in the UH-14. So that way they can, you know, get to places as quickly as, you know, your core Marine Yard 90s. And then I have another group that's coming in the wheel transport. I don't want to go through and say all the numbers. The PWI, I have them coming in, you know, so that way they can provide some support. Wait a second. Oh, my gosh. These guys got changed to a 10-man squad. Oh, yeah. Okay. In case you're wondering why I'm having this reaction, it's because these guys used to be a 5-man squad, and I was sort of like, okay, what's the use of a 30.5-man squad that has all this weaponry? It's just kind of gonna die. Now, ooh my, you know, you could have a very formidable force on your hands when you see KCT in town. Holy crap, this makes the Netherlands a heck of a lot better, especially in the Recon Infantry department. I just now noticed that. Amazing how changing your perspective will let you see all these other guys in the background here. But yeah, so now that they're in a 10-man squad, yeah, you can definitely do some, think of these guys less as recon now, but more like raiders. That's how I kind of use them at this point, is just use them behind the lines and have them raid enemy, you know, logistics and supply lines, and, you know, behind the lines and all that. You can really do some damage. Then we have the 408C and V. Think of this kind of as a discount BRDM-3. That's kind of how I looked at it, was a discount BRDM-3. It's not as good as the BRDM-3 that the Soviets have. But, you know, it's got an autocannon. It has 1750 meter range. And it's wheel. It's a good transport. It's not a good... no, this is not a good transport. This is a good recon unit. Makes for good fire support if you need it. Like looking at other fire support, I think that's a good use for this because, you know, the PNMK that the Dutch, not the Dutch, these are, but that the Denmark has. The Denmark has, you know, is also, I believe, 25 points. That is if they haven't changed it. Next we have the YP408, you know, in the Exceptional Optics Recon form. This is just really just a pure recon unit. Park it in a shrub and move it up from tree line to tree line when you need it to. Moving on to vehicles, we have, of course, the Laro Tow 2. Nice little recon jeep. It's nimble, it's quick, and I've killed a lot of stuff with it, just because it has a 26-25 minute range and 25 armor penetration. And not to say this thing never misses, but it doesn't miss often, unless you lose line of sight. If you're maintaining line of sight all the way to the target, good luck missing with this thing. I wanted to point out, just quickly, one unique unit in here. This is the Pratt. This is, kind of, I believe, a modified M113. The reason I point this out is the year is 1980, so I've played some era games. And era games, if you're not familiar, are games, of course, where you're limiting yourself to, like, pre-1980s or pre-1985. These guys have a platform which fires the TOW 2 missile in the 1980s. Holy crap. You know, let that sink in for a moment. The United States, for example, does not get that capability. The Eurocorps doesn't get that, and neither does the Soviets. Basically, the most played countries, you know, for era games, don't get an ATGM with this much power in an era game. I think that they need to change the year on this, because, yeah, this is just too overpowered in an era game. You can just snipe enemy tanks all day with this. Then moving on back to the actual deck, we have the 106mm recoilless rifle. Good for supporting your infantry inside of forests, you know, maybe on the outskirts of towns. It kind of just plays that role. It has 3 HE power, and it fires kind of quickly at 7 rounds a minute, so, you know, it's not bad. And then we have, of course, helicopters. Only taking 2 helicopters. First, the AH-64 Escort. Of course, has the autocannon. Love this autocannon. I've really fallen in love with the Apache's autocannon, because you can just bring it up behind a vehicle and pop, pop, pop. You can just get a couple of nice hits on its rear or on its side armor and just do tons of damage to it. Meanwhile, you know, you can have your AH-64 in the front, and by having it in the front, it'll engage with the frontal armor, but, you know, the enemy will, you know, you can just keep doing a ton of damage using these Hellfire missiles. So I really love this combo. It's just great. It's just great. What else do I have to say? And then finally, I'm not going to cover Navy. That was kind of just what I created, like, on the fly. It doesn't actually have any practical purpose for this deck. Feel free to change that all you want, because I'm not attached to it. But first we have the F-16A MLU. This is not Denmark's MLU. This is an air superiority fighter, like a Block 52. You have 4 AMRAAMs and 2 AIM-9Ms. Very good at taking out enemy aircraft. It's just a really nice fighter in most regards. Then we have the F-16A Block 150. Now, this is interesting. This has gotten the price decreased to 145 points, which is unique. It's kind of interesting that they chose to do that. I mean, it doesn't carry 4 AMRAAMs like the other, not this MLU, but the Denmark BLU. Not BLU, the Denmark MLU. But anyways, so this is the F-16A Block 150. And it's just a good anti-tank plane. It's got 40% ECM, exceptional air detection. It's a great multi-role to use. And then I'm bringing in some of these NF5s, starting with the NF5A, or the NF5A. This is just a cluster bomber with 5 cluster bombs. Kind of use this in the early game, I guess, before the enemy has really solidified their AA. And same with the NF5B. The way I deploy these things is really just in the early game. Use it to napalm or cluster enemy bridges if you think the enemy's coming across them, because you could get some easy kills and some great kills on enemy transports, enemy tanks, anything that could be embedded along those lines. Same with the napalm, only, you know, you're killing off infantry and denying area to the enemy. So deploy these guys both, preferably on bridges. If you're good enough, not that you're a bad player or anything, but you can put in a recon helicopter, and you can have that recon helicopter scout ahead, and if it can get there in time, then you can really do a good job timing these guys, dropping them right where you need to drop them to do maximum damage. And then finally we have the F-104G. I've really come to like this as an anti-helicopter unit. That's really, it occupies a niche role for me, but I love using it in that role. The AIM-9Ls just do a great job with great accuracy at engaging the enemy helicopters, so yeah. I just can't go wrong with this unit. I really enjoy it, I really like it. And you can kill off, you know, since it's 60 points, you can kill off, you know, KA-52s, you can kill off KA-50s, you can kill off Mi-28s, and every single time, say you send 2 fighters at a KA-50, you will break even. You send 2 fighters at a KA, you know, you won't break even, you'll be able to, each time you'll get a positive number. So, you know, you may lose 120 points, but if you kill a KA-50, you get a plus 30 points. You know, and you remove a very powerful vehicle or helicopter from the enemy. So, I mean, these guys, especially because of their speed, they can usually get 2 missiles off on an enemy target. Just keep in mind, though, you're getting awfully close to enemy helicopter-mounted AA missiles. And you're close enough that that will be an issue, because by the time you're engaging with the AIM-9L at 2100 meter range, you are going to be engaged yourself by the enemy's, say, Igla missiles at a similar range. So anyways, that is it, guys, for the Netherlands Motorized deck. If you enjoyed this video, please like and subscribe. If you want me to review or create a deck next, please leave what you want down in the description. So you want a Netherlands Mechanized deck, you want a United States Marine deck, you want a Soviet Armor deck, what do you guys want? Let me know, and I'll do my best to do that. Anyways, this is RC0538 signing off. I hope you have a good day. Wishing you a good one.